huge proportion have already voted. How important do you think the choice of president will be for Britain?
I think there are some important consequences. Look, I think that the biggest difference is going to be in terms of American attitude towards multilateral institutions. You heard it from the senator there in terms of NATO, but you could also think about climate change. The UK is hosting the next huge international climate change conference here in the UK next year, and clearly a Biden administration is going to have a much more positive view towards progress on that issue. So I think if the people sitting in number 10 at the moment, they'll be a bit nervous on Brexit, as you tried to probe and he very tactfully responded to. But on the other side, on climate change, on trade, on the international court, on some of those NATO, some of those multilateral issues, they would probably find it easier working with the Biden administration on those issues than they would with a second Trump administration.
I mean, how important do you think it will be, actually partly for the sort of tenor of our politics? Arguably, the Trump way of campaigning has, overshadowed politics all over the world. If he loses, what do you think the impact of that will be, Rosie?
I think it will give women around the world a boost. I think we're kind of fed up of some of the language that's come from Trump over the years. African Americans have had a pretty raw deal. The race relations over there are just at rock bottom, and that's horrific. And of course, that's affected Black Lives Matter's campaigns all around the world. And I think all of those people invested in those really important issues are watching like a hawk to see what happens next week.
Fantastic. Well, look, I'm going to come back to both of you in just a couple of minutes. Now, I'm delighted to be joined by the distinguished Game of Thrones actor Kit Harington. Kit, you are an ambassador for a very interesting charity called the Big House Charity, which is all about taking young people who've been in care and, to an extent, helping them to, gain confidence and ambition through acting. Tell us a bit about why you're involved and what Big House does.
Yeah, the Big House is a brilliant theatre company, first and foremost. It's a charity as well, but it's a theatre company. And it's, like you said, it's for young care leavers and vulnerable young people. And it's brilliant. They they serve in the community to kind of help those groups of people to come through the ranks and have a chance in theatre.
Now, we're living through this deeply anxious time for the whole country, but particular problems for the performing arts, since it's almost impossible for any of us, almost anywhere, to go into a theatre or see a live performance. There's sort of smallish things still going on. How worried are you about lasting irreparable damage to the sort of fabric of our cultural life, particularly in the performing arts?
I'm incredibly worried. I think it has an essential, I think that basically we're all going to go through this collective agoraphobia, and I think once we start coming out of this pandemic, we're going to need the live arts more than ever. And I think if we don't support them now, if we don't support the backbone of one of our greatest exports, then it could die. I'm incredibly worried about it. I'm one of the very few fortunate freelancers in a position where I can see this crisis out, but the majority in my profession are not. So yeah, I'm worried.
Kit, please don't go away. I want to talk to you a lot more after the break, and there'll be much more to with Rosie and Gavin. Come back soon.
Beneath Britain's stairs, behind its cupboards,